Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And this is our episode for March 27th, 2022.
Connor Bedard gets a penalty shot right here. Here he comes. Left side to tie the game up at 3. To the circle. Shoots. He scores. Connor Bedard picks up his 43rd of the season.
Bedard far side gets it up the boards. Left point across. Evans to Howe. Right circle. Shoots. Deflected. Scores. Zach Stringer redirects it into the back of the net. His 10th of the season.
For Evans. He's looking for Bedard. Gets Howe. Right circle. Side of the goal. Backhand scores. Logan Nyhoff sends it into the back of the net for his 17th of the season.
Yeah, I think there's probably lots of ideas and stuff like that, but just being around this group and being here every day, I just think we're a fragile group right now. You know, the last couple of games, the Moose Jaw game, I think kind of put a whipping to us, and then obviously when we went into Swift Current, we played really well and it didn't go our way, and it just was a real demoralizing loss. And even seen it last night, the guys were trying their best. They just were trying the wrong way last night to score goals. And tonight, like, we came out flying. We were playing our game. That's the way we like to play, and we've done that multiple times over the last couple of months. And obviously when they got that first goal, the second goal, that first goal was just a breakdown, missed the net. But that's what happens. We start their breakout, they score. But then the one after, you know, the puck dropped, they basically walked right down through both our defensemen, and we had no gap on that, and that's 2-0. And we're almost like a whipped dog right now. And I think with our young group, which we are, we're learning to win, and this is just something else we're learning to. We've been, you know, asking a lot of kids for 6-8 weeks now, and guys been jumping up and then stepping up, and it's hard to be consistent in that league, and that's one of the big things that you got to elevate your game when you go from 16-17 to 18-19. That's what it is, consistency. And I thought just the events that's happened in the last 10 days to our group, there's no excuse for it. That's on the coaches to get us ready and get them ready, and we're cognizant, but you know, I just feel bad for our group. Like, they're trying their best right now, but it's a learning process, and it's just been very disappointing over the last couple of weeks what the results have been from our effort that the kids have been really putting in. Since that Alberta trip, we've been playing, you know, 3 games a week, and you know, those kids are going to school, and they got outside stresses and stuff like that. And let's be honest, like, with our group, I think Drew Simmons gave us excellent goaltending the last 2 games, and that's something that has to be recognized, you know, because sometimes for us, and that's part of us being fragile right now, is we haven't had those saves, and you know, we've been playing well enough to win over the last month. Just it hasn't fell our way, and I think that's become part of the mental fatigue also too. You know, just the disappointment of you know, going through the process, doing the process correctly, but the results still spitting out in a negative way. And that's, as a coaching staff, we're keep on being positive, keep on pushing that same message. But at some point, you know, for these guys, and that's what I think just come out, you know, in these last probably 2 games here, where those last games, and that Swift Current game was, you know, it was a kick in the gut for our team. And you know, it's something that we've been cognizant of, but that we had a great week of practice. Our energy was high. Last night in Saskatoon, we were just trying too hard to score. We thought that we needed to score our way out of our problems, and we kind of got lost in that. And tonight too, we just kind of think we're just shell-shocked a little bit. And going to the first period, you know, we talked about it and intermission, but sometimes you start breathing, when you start talking about that stuff, you can start breathing life into it, you know. And I think that we just kind of stayed the course, and you know, there's different ways to handling it, but I think right now it's just, I feel real disappointed for our boys. It's they've been working their tails off, and it's something not from a lack of trying or effort. It's just part of learning to win in the Western Hockey League, and it's not an easy league.
Well, we wanted to change things up a little bit this episode and just start off with that comment from Coach Brad Herauf. It just summed up really this week so well. Some of the things he kind of, the things I want to highlight, they kicked in the gut. They're playing like a whipped dog. They look shell-shocked. It just really summed up this week for me, at least, and I just wanted to start with that. Chris, how did this week feel for you?
Yeah, it did feel like that. It was, you got a pretty good effort in Swift Current, and you didn't get the result you wanted, and that maybe rolled over into these other 2 games. And yeah, it was a tough week, that's for sure. But I mean, there were some highs or some good points in the week, but not getting wins that's the ultimate result that they need, because those moral victories or improving upon things, it doesn't matter if you don't get the win, right?
Yeah. So currently Pats are sitting at 59 games played, 23 wins, 36 losses, 51 points. Good for 11th in the East Division. Currently sitting 6 points out of the last playoff spot with just 9 games remaining, and currently on a 4-game losing streak. So things aren't looking great right now. The 9 games, I think we have 3 against Winnipeg, 1 against Brandon, Saskatoon, Moose Jaw in there, and then I think Swift and PA. So some tough games coming up here, and just it's feeling a little out of reach right now.
Yeah, you're 6 points back, but you gotta pass 3 teams. You gotta pass Calgary, PA, and Swift Current. So,
and any of those teams are not rolling over either. They're all seem to be at least putting up a few points here and there.
Well, I know, like just tonight, Lethbridge beat Edmonton, right?
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a big win.
That's a huge win.
And then, Swift Current, Calgary, somebody had to win that game, so that's tough. I mean, PA lost to Winnipeg, but yeah, so.
All right, well, let's go through the games here. Let's talk about some of those highs. What did you see? What were some of those good points, glimmers of hope that you saw this week?
I think the first one that stood out was Drew Sim played 2 solid games on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
The Swift Current game, both didn't look good, I thought.
Yeah.
And but they scored the goals. They had some offense against Swift Current, obviously, but yeah, I thought the biggest, not surprise, but the biggest point was Sim's 2 real solid games. I mean, yeah, he gave up 5 against Brandon, but I mean, none of those were really on him, like, at all. And I thought he played real well in Saskatoon. He made some really big saves, Saskatoon.
And that was something we did highlight last episode, was some of the goaltender play wasn't really helping us win. So to see him respond like that, that was encouraging. Another thing, hey, the PK, they killed 7 out of 8 penalties against, only allowing 1 goal on the man being a man down against Swift Current. And our power play was 3 for 6. We were saying, I mean, that's 50%, but then you kind of look at it, you're like, oh, only 6 power plays over 3 games, right? And we were saying, it's just sort of, if you're not carrying the play or putting the pressure on a team to force them to take penalties, then you're not going to get those power plays. But regardless, I guess 50% isn't too bad on the power play, taking advantage of them when we did have them.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I didn't put in that comment, kind of Herauf alluded to that. He's like, it's just, everything's not clicking at the same time, right? You got the goaltending, you got the penalty killing going right now, but the goals weren't there, right? You know, in the other games, they were scoring goals, but they weren't getting the saves, and they couldn't kill a penalty. So it's just that thing. It's just it's not all working at the same time. Yeah.
And right now they're just looking, just not a lot of pep here right now. And, just looking at this Brandon game, when they gave up those 3 goals at the end of the first period, just deflated them, right? Then you come out, you think, well, how are they going to respond? And they put up 2 shots in the second period. Like, there's just, they're running out of gas here, it feels like, right? Like, I don't know how you expect to respond to that. I mean, that's pretty deflating to give up 3 goals within the last, 90, 100 seconds of a period. And but to put up 2 shots in the following period, that's not going to cut it.
I know, even Saskatoon, they played all right. They couldn't generate any good scoring opportunities as well. They only had 4 in the second and 7 in the third against Saskatoon. So that's only 11 shots. And that's usually not the type of game they play. They usually do have lots of shots, even if there aren't quality scoring chances. It seems like they'll, put up the shots, but Saskatoon just kind of shot them down. There was nothing there. And same with Brandon. Both games were just nothing push offensively.
Yeah, I agree. Bedard's point streak came to an end in Saskatoon. What did he end up at?
21.
21. So, yeah, that was too bad as well. In front of a huge crowd there in Saskatoon. Hey?
Yeah, it was quite large. I didn't catch what's the number here on the sheet. I got it up.
It was their family or kids game or something like that. So
okay, yeah, 75. So because I noticed they had the upper deck open, which they usually don't. So,
and then at the same rate, 60 some at the Pats game yesterday. Just shy
62-41.
Yeah, just shy of a potential sellout. So, that was all right. I didn't go. We got some illness running through the home, so didn't want to expose anyone. But so we weren't.
Yeah,
there.
and I didn't make it either, so it was kind of a offer that.
Too bad. But I mean, just even watching it on TV, it's kind of like, this is getting harder to do, right? There's competing things for your entertainment on Saturday. I was looking the Toronto, Montreal were playing, and then Calgary and Edmonton were playing. Both those are always kind of fun games. So I don't know, starting to become kind of some competing things into the Pats time. It feels like right now.
Yeah, it's too bad. And I mean, I missed the first part of that Brandon game, and when I flick it on, it's like, 1-0 Pats.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I think we had sounded like they had a good first period, and then you see the 3 goals at the end of the period. It's just like, ooh, like, is this going to be a doozy or what? But yeah, it's tough.
It is tough. Like, what do you do for the rest of the season? What do you look for? What do you hope for? Do you maybe when do they take the pressure off and just say, relax, guys, and let's just play the season out and have some fun? And I don't know, because it feels like they're down. They're just not even playing. They're just beat dogs, and it's like, well, it's not even fun watching them. Like, I don't know, like, who knows?
Yeah,
it would take nothing short of a miracle. And I mean, I'm not trying to be a downer, but let's be real here. Like, it's
gonna be real tough.
Pretty insurmountable here to get into a playoff spot. But I don't want to watch boring hockey either.
No.
Right?
You'd like to see some pushback, and because they're still mathematically there. You still like to see some heart, some push. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's getting tough.
Yeah, and so this week, not really any easier. You got Saskatoon on Wednesday in Regina, and then Winnipeg here on the Friday, and then up to PA on Saturday. So it's a tight schedule. These are some kind of makeup games, because I think usually we're wrapping up here pretty quick in March, is it not? Or early April?
Yeah, there's the makeups and the pushbacks and stuff. So
yeah, so it's a tight schedule here to close it off. So I don't know. I mean, if they get wins, great. I'd like to see them just a little more. I don't know. Just
loose.
Yeah. I mean, if the pressure's off, let's go. Let's just have some fun and don't worry about it as much, because I don't think whatever they're doing right now isn't working. You're on a 4-game losing streak, so you can't ratchet up the pressure here anymore and keep saying, well, we need to win or else we're done. Like, they've been in that situation for over a month now, right? Where every game was huge. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to say about it. I don't know. Like, Herauf kind of said it. It's just not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the news on the injury front, keeper didn't back up on Friday or Saturday, and there was nothing in the game notes, but it sounds like Herauf alluded to it post-game on Saturday that he may be still lingering effects from his concussion, so they're going to sit him down and just let, he's like, there's bigger picture items. Yeah, we're trying to win, but you got to think about these other guys. He's still young. We got to think about him and his health. So Spencer Welke's been called up. I mean, he'll probably back up these coming games here. I know Pine was backing up, but he's still playing with Pat C's, and Welke's season is done in the AJ. So looks like we might be seeing him. Who knows? Maybe for the rest of the season. You never know.
Yeah. So speaking of it, yeah, the Pat C's with Kelton Pine, they're still in playoffs, and actually they're playing Notre Dame. I think they played today. Actually, yeah, they did, and they won that. So they might be making a bit of a run here, with a couple of players. So Barnett had a goal today, and Pine with the win. So they are still playing and having some success, which is nice to see someone wearing a Pat's logo getting somewhere. And yeah, there's no point. I mean, you got Keeper, a 16-year-old. There's no really, if he's still got some lingering effects from that, I wouldn't push it. Like, what's the point? If Sim can have some decent games and play how he can and be consistent with that, then you may as well ride that.
Yeah, that's the thing, consistency, and that's what the team is lacking, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's been up and down, waves. Every facet of the game has had waves all season, and I mean, yeah.
It has. Now, I mean, as a hockey fan, though, and a junior hockey fan, these playoffs are shaping up. They could be pretty good. Starting to, the West and East are starting now to kind of lock in some of the playoff berths here. When you look now, like, if it started today, you'd have an Edmonton-Lethbridge series. Who knows? I mean, Lethbridge, we talked, they're a gritty team. Could be a bit of a series. When you really get to like the 3-6 and the 4-5, I think those might be pretty interesting. You got Red Deer potentially against Brandon. Brandon really coming along here. Red Deer, a tough team to play. That could be a really good series. And then, boy, if it comes Moose Jaw, Saskatoon, that'll be a good one. Moose Jaw whipped them, was it last night? But
yeah, Saskatoon was missing a few guys.
Yeah, I think
So
Saskatoon in the playoffs could be pretty good, and that almost might be worth catching a game, getting out to Moose Jaw.
yeah,
As gross as it is.
I'm not spending any money in Moose Jaw. They told me not to come back, so
Okay.
I'm not spending my money there.
All right. So if you're not going to it, there hasn't been anything from the WHL Live. It didn't include playoffs, did it?
Yeah, no, there's an email last week.
Okay.
I seen it. There's an email that
Is there a price?
there was the price. Yeah, I don't remember offhand here.
Okay.
But
Definitely have to pick that up because I think there's going to be some good series in the East. I don't follow the West too much. You do a little bit more.
well, especially now that we don't even play them at all.
Yeah. You don't really get a flavor of them, but I mean, some good teams
I'll
coming
cut
out
in
of
here.
there.
Playoff price is $60 per league, or $90 for all three.
That's pretty reasonable. $60.
I mean, what was the regular season? It
Wasn't much more.
No.
Yeah. No, but
So-
whatever. That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could handle that. And yeah, so we'll see. I mean, still some good hockey out there. We'll see who gets that 8th spot. That might be kind of interesting. That 7-8 spot that ends up, who ends up in there. Right now,
Yeah, there's
it's
still lots
Lethbridge,
of movement going to happen.
Absolutely. Swift's only got about 5 games left. Lethbridge with 8, PA, Calgary both have 7. So Swift's got to make sure they get the wins when they can, and kind of see how the rest of it plays out for them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anything else you want to talk about this week?
I don't know.
That's all I really had. I mean, what do you say? What do you say, right? It's kind of, it's disappointing. I think we're hoping for some more this season. But yeah, we've been here every game. We've talked about everyone, and this is how it's gone. So
Yeah.
here we are.
I don't really have much else, but yeah, it's a short one tonight. But I mean, yeah, we don't want to ramble on again. 3 losses.
Yeah,
So.
if we had something to talk about, we would. We definitely would. We can talk about a lot.
I mean, we appreciate your listenership, and
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, now it's starting to look till next year, I guess. I don't know. Some of the 19s, we don't have a ton, but they're starting to maybe vie for their spots and make a case for themselves as a 20-year-old. The goaltenders, they might be seeing where they shuffle out over the off season.
And the team's got to look at, how do they improve this team? Like, how much do they want to do, right?
Yeah, I would say
how much do they?
No one is super safe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Bedard is, but
if you want to
gotta
improve your team, like,
Yeah.
there's nobody that is untouchable per se, right?
I don't think there is really at this point. It's like, if you want to, obviously the team needs some adjustments, and they will do what they need to do that, right? And put out a competitive team next year, hopefully. So,
yeah, I mean, they can score goals. That's the thing. Like, I put out a tweet there, middle of the pack in scoring goals, and they were only minus 22 in goal differential. Like, that's not bad. That's middle of the pack. It's just they were such close games. Like, there was so many close games that they just lost, right? It was like the Jays missing the playoffs. Like, they were a plus whatever in runs scored. Like, projected they should have easily made the playoffs, but they just blew leads late. It's kind of like the same thing. The teams there, you look at the other teams, are all minus 30, 40, 50 goals. The Pats are only minus 20. And it's so it's that's what's kind of frustrating. They were in these games. It's not like they were getting blown out all year.
Yeah, well, just like you
But
said,
it is
the moral victories don't count on the score sheet. So, yeah, here we are. Well, let's not dwell on it. Let's wrap it up for this week, and let's have some fun. Finish off the season with some fun, some good games, and some good hockey. Hopefully, and build a case for next year, I guess. We've said that every year, but geez, I don't know. Whatever. All right, folks. We will see you guys at the rink now. I think we should be there, and have a good week, everyone.
All right, good night, folks.